What's up, party people of the SFL? Damn it. I was muted, bro. Son of a bitch. Anyway, what's up, party people of the SFL? Great way to start the show. Welcome to episode 5 of season 20 of Access Live, where we cover the SFL and we talk about a couple other sim leagues briefly, or mention them at least, which I will do in a moment. Yep, thank you, Freddie. I appreciate that in the chat. You're muted, bro. Anyway, welcome to the show. What a wild and crazy week 4 we had, folks. We had 2 unbeatens go down. Minnesota and San Diego both lose. That only leaves 3 unbeaten teams now. That would be Baltimore, Atlanta, and Arizona. What's going on with Florida? We talk about it every week. 0-4 now to start the season. And 2 other teams that are going kind of opposite directions. You know, Jacksonville started off 2-0. They're now 2-2 with a 2-game losing streak. And thank you, Justin. I'm not muted, bro. And then Mexico City, we talked about their tough start, but they're also 2-2, now tied for first place in the South. Canton upsets London, probably the biggest upset of the week. And then, of course, Seattle. Look at Seattle, gets their first win of the season and their very first away win in franchise history. So that's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. And then the most important thing that's coming out of week 4 is now Mike All has returned. Mike All, welcome back, bro. Welcome back to the party. Welcome back to the SFL. It's great to have you back. I ate a bag of Bucky's Cheetos today in your honor. And by the way, you need to put those on your list, bro. They're phenomenal. They're like crack. I can't stop eating them. So, anyway, that's what we got on tap for tonight. And welcome me, Mike, all back. So let's check out the party people here. Let me get rid of this thing real quick. Let me see who's all in here right now. There was a bunch of you pouring in at the beginning, and they kind of leveled off. First one in that I can see is Crazy Canuck. What's up? Doug Britton in the house. Doug Britton, check the mailbox. Still nothing yet, bro. Nate Hall's in the house. The lovely, amazing, and perfect pink Lisa is in his house. Packer Fred, of course, calling me out being muted. Marco Swift, I see. Harish. Damn, Harish, you got long-distance internet? Harish all the way from India. And by the way, Harish, great job this weekend. With the SFL pause. I couldn't stop. I mean, gosh, every time I turned around, there was a new tweet, a new thing to look at. You did a phenomenal job this weekend, you and Sully over there. It looks like I got Jaden Swift as well. Both Swift brothers are here, along with Justin Reside. Jay Balmer's in the house. Bo Morpheus Jr.'s in his house with us. Glad to see you. Crazy. All right, I said that. Neil Rivers, good to see you, buddy. Josh Farnsey's here. Josh, I haven't read your article you posted yet today, but I will tonight after the show. BJ Loveless is in his house. Bob Funk. What's up, Bob Funk? You know we can't have a show without you, man. I don't think David Leathers is going to be here tonight. I heard he's on vacation in Hawaii. T to Queen. Hope you had a great birthday last week, and Doug spoiled you this weekend. Who else we got here? That's what she said, of course. I got to have that. Stuart Zomelia. Zoe, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Mel Davis. How you been, man? What's going on? Grant Hardaway, first time chat. What's good, SFL Nation? Grant, good to see you. Welcome to the show. TP Tac, good to see you. Nacho, what's up, Nacho? Thanks for being on the show last week, bro. Appreciate you, man. And Nacho, did you get your shirt yet in the mail? When you do, you got to post that in the Access Live server so we can see it. The original Tyler's here, and I think that's it. Master Chief. Sneaking in at the last second, and I think that's everybody. So welcome, party people, to the show. Good to see everybody. Looks like we got about 40 people as Cliff Allen sneaks in just under the wire before we go to introduce tonight's panelists. Nacho, just got it in the mail today. Gonna wash and post a pic of me wearing it later. Perfect, bro. Glad. I hope it fits good. Albert Begin, what's up? Good to see you, bro. Did he what? Oh. So Cliff Allen thought he was under the wire, but really it's Albert Begin. Also, I have a new microphone because I didn't like the one I was using the last few weeks. So please tell me how I sound this week compared to the last few weeks. I was really hot, and I think I decided that the microphone that I was using before was more for talking and not yelling and being loud and shit like I like to do. Definitely not for broadcasting. Sound is good, much better. Good. Glad to hear that. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. All right, let's get to our panelists. Let's see who's in the house tonight. In the first circle, the first Access Live circle right next to me is a man who is no stranger to my shows. However, he has been a stranger this season, but he is here tonight, and it's probably a good timing that he got here in week 5 too, which is coincidence? I think not. Ladies and gentlemen, who is in the house? Bo Morpheus Jr. is in his house, or better known nowadays as Thick and Juicy. Bo, what's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
Yo, what's going on, Dave? What's going on to the rest of the party peoples? And y'all already know, man, it's Tuesday night, and Tuesday night is now officially the bomb because the Alamo City Artillery are in the house.
There you go. And you doing the whole crisscross thing tonight, I see.
Oh, yeah. Crisscross will make you jump. You know,
Thick and Juicy
it's
make
me,
you want to.
Thick and Juicy.
Thick and Juicy make you want to jump. Wait, what kind of chips you eating there, bro?
You know what, man? These are oldie but goodie. I ain't gonna lie. These are my favorite in the whole entire world. They're just regular nacho cheese Doritos.
Those are the best, bro.
I had I put it out on social media one day. I said, if anybody ever wanted me to commit some sort of crime, you keep your money. Give me some Doritos.
Oh, hey, DM me after the show, bro. All right, bro. Welcome back, bro. Appreciate that, and appreciate you eating chips on the show tonight of all nights. Appreciate that, man.
Of course.
All right, folks. In the middle circle, another person who's not a stranger to the show, hasn't been on a lot, but he's done several shows in the past. Again, first show this season, and as Crazy Canuck says, his wife is a big fan of those with sour cream. Oh, I like dipping them in salsa too. That's really, or actually cream cheese. Have you ever had nacho cheese Doritos, Bo, with cream cheese and salsa? Holy shit, that'll change your world. It's like the
that gets me all thick and juicy.
Yeah, that's like the 7th or 8th best thing I've ever put in my mouth. So, anyway, going on to the next panelist tonight. No stranger to the show, like I said. He's been here before, first time this season. And Nacho's like, all I hear is Nacho. Dude, I'm never going to even get through the fucking panelists tonight, the way the show's going already. I guess Cliff Allen doesn't like nacho cheese. What's up, bro? In the middle circle, no stranger to the show. He's been here before. He's no stranger to the SFL, and he's definitely no stranger to winning championships. Ladies and gentlemen, the president, GM, and fullback of the Baltimore Vultures, Mr. T-Roy Gaines, in the house. What's up, T-Roy? How you doing, bro? How you been, man?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me on after I missed your show the original time back in early this season. So thank you for having me on.
That's all right. No worries, bro. We all have schedules. I get it. It's not like you flew all the way to India to avoid me or something like Karish did. So we're good. T-Roy, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
You got it, bro. All right. I don't even know why I try to get 3 panelists anymore. I should just try to get 2 from now on, because this guy is in this same spot every single week. He needs no introduction. Ladies and folks, Tyler's back again in his spot, and he's like 3 or 4 Coronas in, so this should be fun. This should be really fun. Tyler, what's up, bro?
Oh, boy. If I'm going to play the enemy part, I might as well. I get 2-10 for Atlanta. Yep. Might as well, say to the entire SFL community, right off Florida, because they're 0-4.
Ooh. Well, we'll get into that later, but you did make a certain prediction last week we'll talk about later in the show. All right, thanks for being here, Tyler. All right, folks, it's that time. If you guess correctly, if you're the first one to guess correctly, to clarify, you'll get some Axis swag. I think 2 weeks ago it was BJ Loveless, and I don't remember who won last week. I'll have to look at my notes. So let me know who you guys think. Everybody thinks it's Mike All. That's a great guess. Let me see here. It is not Jesus, Cliff Allen. He was busy. It's not Eddie Gage. It's not Charles. It's none of those guys. So let me see. Cam, no. Gunny, no. Buck is out sick tonight. Oh, Buck is out sick tonight? That's funny. All right, folks. I don't see anybody guessing it. Pickler, Andy Hamilton. Oh, those are good guesses. Bob Funk, Yogi. Those are good guesses. Those are all good guesses, actually. The only thing is they're all wrong. King. Nope. See? All right, you got about 10 more seconds. Throw them out there. Chad. Nope, no Chad. Biff, no. Cam, no. Deepug, no. Man, you guys are... Is it me? Yes, Crazy Canuck, it's you. It is not Doug Day either. It's not Lisa. It's not Cornman. It's not Doggy. It's not Ray Ray. Holy shit, you guys suck at guessing. It's not Axel Raven. It's not Mike O'Neill. Okay, it's over. Nobody gets it. Ladies and gentlemen, in the guest host spot, our Episode 5, Season 20, surprise guest host. And no, it's not Harish Prasad's Master Chief. Good guess, though. I mean, he's only in India, so I guess he still could have done it, even though he's on vacation or whatever he's doing there. It's not Hacker. It's not Ashley. It's not Nacho. Nacho was last week. You guys knew that. It's not Brian Craven. Wow, you guys, this is the most wrong guesses I've ever seen. Our guest host, I got to make sure I get this right. Here we go. I don't want to click the wrong button and screw it up. It's not Ross. It's not Mark. It's not Robert Garrett. Holy crap, you guys. Guest host is from Houston. There's your first hint. He is, and he also helps take care of a lot of stats. He's a defensive back. It's not Damon. It's not Mike St. Green. It is, ladies and gentlemen, it is Corey Menner. What's up? Corey, congratulations on having like 50 wrong guesses from the crowd. Nobody thought it was you, so I guess we kept the surprise under wraps, bro. How you doing, man?
I just keep under the radar, but I'm doing great, man. I'm just glad to be here with everybody here tonight, and especially the party people. It's a great honor to be here tonight.
Well, I think you just broke a record tonight. You definitely had the most wrong guesses of any surprise guest host, so there you go.
That doesn't shock me whatsoever. Like, not at all. Like,
Sorry,
I'm
Master Chief. Look at, he's like, he has a great mustache. Great choice. Yeah, I guess people are happy that I brought you on the show because of your mustache. There you go.
That's the one thing I have pride in. You know, I mean, I'm losing it all up here. You know,
yeah,
I mean,
I get
it's
you.
going away. So this is all I got left right here.
That's all right. And do you do all the stats and stuff for the website by yourself?
The majority of it, if something comes up, you know, Rastelli, you know, deputy commissioner, he helps me in a pinch, but I try to keep on top of it myself. You know, I take pride in that, just trying to get it right, and you know.
Well, I think
make sure
I can.
Everybody's stats are in there as quick as possible.
Yeah, well, I think I can say on behalf of the entire SFL Nation that we thank you for all your work getting those stats in, because we all rely on them heavily, especially those of us doing content. So thank you, bro.
No problem. Hey, I just glad to be part of the team. You know, honestly, it truly is. I'm glad to be part of it.
Jack Wall, I do not believe you. I think the opposite of that is true. All right, let's move on. I do have one announcement real quick. There will be no bullet points tonight. As you probably remember, last week I mentioned that Bullet had some medical things going on. He was in the hospital for a few days. He is out of the hospital. He's still not feeling up to par, but he is hoping to be back next week with bullet points. So if you have a moment, you know, shoot him a DM, tell him you're thinking of him or whatever. Hope he feels better, that kind of thing. And hopefully we'll see him back next week. In the meantime, what I want to do to fill this time instead, because, I mean, there's no way we would ever run behind on this show. So I figured let's throw more shit in there. These were the power rankings going in to week 4. And I didn't even tell the panelists that I was going to do this tonight because I literally just did it today. Thank you to Jack's Data for sending me these graphics so we could do this. But I'm going to go around the horn real quick. Bo, I'm going to start with you. As you see the coaches poll with the media poll, there's a couple teams that are obviously going to drop, right? Minnesota and San Diego, the 2 unbeaten teams, will probably drop a little bit. They both played well. So I don't see that they would drop a lot. But as you look at this, either up or down, what big movement do you possibly see going into week 5? Because I think the new ones will come out, I think, on Thursday or Friday right before the game starts. So what kind of movement do you anticipate going into week 5?
Yeah. Well, I got to say, you know, one of the biggest surprises for me, at least, and I'm sorry to say this, Dave, but one of the biggest surprises for me, at least, was Las Vegas defeating the San Diego Mavericks.
Right.
And I'm sure we'll talk more about this later, but I think that the fact that if you look at the ranking, they're not even in the top 15.
Yeah, Vegas is 15 and 16, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah,
I couldn't see
15,
the bottom. They're not in the top 12, so they're what are they? 15? Okay,
15.
So
on coaches,
they're at number 15 now. And to be honest, I gotta see them swapping spots or somehow Jacksonville's got to drop. I feel that Vegas is probably going to make the biggest move there from 15. They got to go up to at least that Jacksonville spot. So I think they're probably one of the bigger movers because of who they beat.
Right. You can see Vegas and Jacksonville swapping spots. T-Roy, what about you? You know, not only did we see Minnesota and San Diego lose, but we saw London take a big loss, probably the upset of the week to Canton. And then I think Fort Worth lost again as well. So a couple teams maybe that were just on the edge of that top 12 maybe dropping out. What do you think? Oh, shit. Here we go. Unbelievable. Guess what? You're muted, bro.
There you go.
There
I got
it
my
is.
first one.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable. See, it's not just Tyler. Apparently other people do it as well. And as you can see the chat, look at Cornwall's all over that shit.
Hey, it's my first one. I'll take that.
That's all right. Okay, so I'm sure you were saying something really important, though, that none of us could hear.
Yeah, London, I think, unfortunately, since they're my former rivals, I think London's going to be one dropping out of the top 10. I do believe DC and Vegas will be moving up. Definitely, Carolina with their win will be moving up as well. We'll talk about Carolina later. But Minnesota and San Diego, as we talked about, unfortunately, probably dropping down, but I think they'll still be in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how nice the Jack Stadium is, but I definitely, unfortunately for London, will see them dropping out.
Tyler, I was thinking, Vancouver, if you look, they dropped 3 spots from week 3 to week 4, but they turn around this week and they beat Minnesota. So do you think they deserve those 3 spots back? And how do you see the power rankings going into week 5?
Well, there really isn't a whole lot to say no. They shouldn't, get back their 3 spots back. They played very well against Minnesota, a very tough Minnesota team. Yes, it was a low-scoring affair, but they put up the points needed to come away with Minnesota. They kept Minnesota's offense off the field for the most part and did what they needed to do. The team I have a lack of rumblings from or people mentioning is Carolina. Now, I may or may not be very high on Carolina and may or may not have said this publicly, but I'm saying it now. Carolina is a sleeping giant at the moment. They played extremely well against Mexico City week 1. They came out this past week versus Fort Worth, and all of a sudden, it wasn't the offense, but the defense that took over. Monte Wyatt getting his first career pick 6. Carolina, to me, is going to be making moves. They are going to build upon their 6-6 season, and they're doing just that, playing very good football. I think Carolina deserves to have a place in the top 10.
Okay. Corey, as I'm looking at a couple other things, Louisiana's 3-1 now, and they're sitting at 8. Alamo City at 7, lost to DC, so they dropped to 2-2. Mexico City now 2-2 as well. But look at the disparity between an Alamo City team because of the way they started versus Mexico City. 7 spots. Do you feel like there's going to be a closure gap there? And what other movement do you anticipate?
I'd just like to see what Mexico City, what's going to happen with them in particular. I mean, not only divisional reasons, but with the new field general at the helm, I just like to see what's going to become of this. I mean, I expect them to come out of this and find their groove, get back into the game, and score big like they always do. But it's just going to be a waiting game to see what happens and see how they come out on it. I believe they're going to move up. I think they're going to find their groove and move up.
Did Tulsa play this week, you guys? No, they had to bye, right? Okay. All right.
No,
The only other thing, too, is I saw a tweet about it yesterday, I think. Chad Rowland over there in Indianapolis, very happy that his team finally made a power ranking, sneaking at number 12 on the media poll. So congrats to them as well. Looking forward to that Monday night game coming up between Minnesota and Indianapolis. All right, let's dive into some games, you guys. Let's start with the South Division. Bo, this is your division. I mean, we have talked at length about how competitive this division normally is. And it's turned out to kind of be that way again, right? The 2 leaders at the top are 2-2. Alamo City was 2-1 going this week. I believe Mexico City was 1-2. And then Fort Worth is struggling right now. You don't have to talk about that stuff necessarily, but it kind of ties into how did they do this weekend. Tell me about how they did this weekend, and then and then Corey's going to ask you a follow-up.
Yeah. So, gosh, well, I'll set Alamo City to the side for a moment, and we'll come back to them. Let's talk about that Mexico City game. I thought that game was pretty boring.
It was extremely boring.
Basically it was 17-12 was the final. Mexico City was able to pull out the victory, but let's be honest. I think Jordan Sipe is still filling out his way, right? He's doing okay. He's coming along. I think that Mexico City did a much better job at trying to cater to his strengths. He was able to find the end zone twice, and he did not turn the ball over, and that's huge. Because we know that Jordan Sipe is still developing. So the fact that they were able to find a way to keep the ball in his hands, he didn't have to do too much. He had 205 yards passing, but what was weird is that they won the game. It was 17-12, but the offense still looked rather lethargic. Even those notorious running backs that they have in Phoenix Jones and Ray Bentley, they didn't explode like they normally do. Pause. So,
Heyo.
but thank goodness for Mexico City's defense. They came in handy and bailed out Mexico City. Two big interceptions by Ben Charbs and Jared Brody basically saved the day for Mexico City and salvaged the victory for them over there. So they've got a big test next week. They'll be going up against the Alamo City Artillery. And, so we're looking forward to that match, and we'll get back to that a little bit later, I'm sure. Fort Worth and Houston both had byes this week. So, they both are coming off some really good games. And we know how Houston's been. They've had some really close games and, some really tough losses, and they finally got a win, so.
I thought Fort Worth played Carolina.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Fort Worth played Carolina. It was Houston that had the bye.
Houston had a bye. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, Fort Worth played Carolina, and Houston had the bye. And Houston had some really close games. They just so happened to eke out some losses, if you will. But then they did manage to get a win, and so they'll be looking to kind of build on what they're doing going forward. They've got a really good offense. I don't think that anybody can deny that they've got a really good offense, but they're just trying to find a way to put it all together. Fort Worth is struggling, and I hate to say it, with certain party included, but Fort Worth is struggling right now. Their point differential is been one of the worst in the league, and so they've got a little bit of work.
A lot of that was your guys' fault too, Bo.
What's that?
So a lot of that was your fault over at Alamo City for the game, right? Didn't you guys beat them up pretty good?
We did. I think we beat them by almost 20, by 18, I believe, 17 or 18. But who's counting? But they've got some work to do. But I do think that Fort Worth can put it all together. They've got a really great quarterback, which is always the foundation. To building a great team. So I believe they can get it all together. But the South is just such a tough division. And then, okay, now let's get back to my Alamo City Artillery. Have I mentioned how much I hate Kevin Say? If I haven't said that before,
bro,
I'll say it again.
Every single time.
I don't care if we know. Listen, I know I'm not covering DC. I'm going to say this. It's no secret what DC is going to do. Everybody knows their entire offense runs through Kevin Say, right? Just like everybody knows our offense runs through Brad Jones. The only problem is they were able to somehow hold Brad Jones to 84 yards in this game. Whereas Kevin Say exploded all over us like he always does. Pause.
Ew.
He exploded all over us for 169 yards.
Harish is loving this shit, by the way.
And so, it's no secret, so I think that perhaps, Alamo City has a little bit to build on now based on facing one of the best running backs in the league. This might be our strongest challenge this season as far as the running backs go. So it was a really good measuring stick as far as our defensive line goes. And so we've got to go back and tweak a few things to take care of that and do the best that we can to stop Kevin Say. I do believe that we're right on track as to where we said we'd be. it's going to be a dogfight in the South. It's going to, and I said this when the season started, it's going to be a dogfight in the South, and the South is going to be won on the last week of the season.
Yep, and that seems to be the case every season. Corey, before you ask your question to Bo, Iowa Corn King, which is Holdorf, said Harish should have his own segment on the show. You know what we could do? We could have a pause moment of the week segment on the show with all those tweets that they're putting out, and whatever one we like the best, we could show. Like this week, it would. Wow, what was the one I saw? Not the punting ones. There was something else this week that was. I was crying. It was so freaking funny. So that's a good idea. I think we might have to experiment with that a little bit. Yes, the crabs. Yes, the crabs. When I was dying, that was hilarious. That offensive lineman. I was dying. That was great. Great shit, Harish. Yeah, it was the crab walk. Corey, what's your question for Bo?
Well, he already answered one half of it when he mentioned that he still feels the South's going to be in a dogfight at the come the end of the season. So that answers that question. But kind of drifting back towards Mexico City, though. Like we already mentioned, they got the new quarterback. What do you feel like they need to focus on to get back into being the old Mexico City, not where they're at right now, because this isn't what we see traditional Mexico City. What would that take in your mind?
To be honest, I don't know that they can. And I'm not saying that they can't be great. I'm just saying that they can't be who they were. And I don't think they should even try to be. They're a completely different team now. They lost, perhaps the greatest quarterback in SFL history. They lost one of the greatest tight ends, I believe, in history to retirement. And so it's like, I don't know if you can replace Jack Wall says the second greatest tight end. That's debatable. But I don't know if you can replace, or get back to that particular place. I don't know that you necessarily need to. I think Mexico City has an excellent staff, right? So pause.
Right.
And they, I'm not doing that on purpose, I promise. I think Mexico City has an excellent staff, and they have the ability to build around their current players. And so just like they were able to build around, Matt, I think they'll be able to build around Jordan Sipe and cater to his strengths. They'll have to alter it a little bit. So they'll still be able to figure it out. Right now, they're figuring things out. So it's going to take some time for them to figure it out. I do believe Mexico City can still be competitive. If they'll still be the dominant force that they were last season, I'm going to say no, not this season. Not this
Somebody's
season.
clipping that.
What's that?
I said somebody's going to clip that.
I don't, and I don't say that in a disrespect. I don't mean it to be disrespectful. So clip it if you like, whatever motivation you feel you need. But let's be honest, you're going from one of, if not the best quarterback in SFL history to a second-year quarterback.
There's going to be a drop-off.
So there's going to be a drop-off. I don't mean that as an insult, but there's just going to be a drop-off.
So
that's like if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, like I am, going from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, I don't care how high you think his ceiling is, Jordan Love, there's going to be a pretty big drop-off there.
Right.
And it's not a disrespect to Jordan Love. There's just going to be a drop-off. So Jordan Sipe, may be great by the time this is all over. But it's going to take some time, and I don't know that he can get it done this season. That's all I mean.
Well, Swole, welcome to the program, first of all. Second of all, Jack Wall, that was a very nice compliment for Benji Matson in the chat. And and we need to move on because we're behind since I threw that extra segment in. Bo, thanks for breaking that down. T-Roy, let's head to your division, the Atlantic, this week. I think you guys had a bye, if I'm not mistaken. DC with an impressive win over Alamo City. Carolina taking care of Fort Worth. And Charleston struggling. Now, we talked last week that we thought Baltimore was head and shoulders above the rest, and that DC surprisingly had been slacking off. And that between Carolina and Charleston, Carolina already winning the head-to-head was probably better with Charleston kind of in the basement in that division. Do you see the division the same way? And then break this down for us from this weekend.
Yeah, I basically see the division same way. Baltimore, we've been fortunate enough to continue where we left off last season. So Maserang Yates is back doing his thing, leading the league in sacks with 6, and Jack Whitmore is first in the SFL with a QBR ranking of 127.3. Carolina, they're hot. Two-game
Mm-hmm.
winning streak. They
Mm-hmm.
did want a close defensive struggle against Queen City. I love the fact that they got Ike McBride more involved each and every week. This time she had over 95 yards, sorry, not over, had 95 yards rushing, a touchdown. That's, make things a little bit more unpredictable on their offense. So the Carolina's defense, as you guys mentioned, is scary. Heck, Charleston's defense is scary too. Uh, they were, I'm sorry, Carolina faced Fort Worth. The Charleston game was the Mexico City game.
Right.
Um, they were close in that game. If it weren't for a untimely interception in the first half and then a fake punt in the second half, if those two things didn't happen, I think Carolina had the opportunity to pull that. Sorry, Charleston had an opportunity to pull off that win. Their defense is great. Their offense, they have the weapons. I know they do. We faced them this week. They have the weapons to be scary. Just they haven't, like with Mexico City, haven't figured it out yet. But I strongly believe that they will. DC, they have their hot and cold streaks. They got an impressive win over Thick and Juicy's Alamo City team. And he mentioned the big thing was Kevin Say. I mean, we all know it.
Mm-hmm.
If Kevin Say can go off with over 202 yards of total offense and let Sebastian Energy just be efficient, their defense is scary.
Shabazz has been extremely efficient.
Yeah, he has been very efficient. I think there was even one game before we faced them that he only missed one pass.
Yeah. Yep.
And then this game against Alamo City, I think his efficiency rate, I'm going to the stats right now. I'm trying to find him. Sorry for that. I have that. He only missed 5 passes, 1 interception, 1 TD. So he's been very efficient. And hey, if you don't make mistakes, more times than not, as long as you score, you win. So yeah, DC, they're one moment they're hot on offense, and the other moment they struggle a little bit. I think all 3 teams, and of course with us too, can make a strong push to get into the playoffs if we just, for us, stay focused on the task at hand, while all the other teams just be consistent on offense. Defenses are scary. I definitely think the Atlantic is very strong here.
The Atlantic is very strong. Problem is when the top team in that division beats what we think is the second best team by 20 something points, doesn't seem that competitive. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you this: as I'm trying to find DC in week 2. Did they have a bye? No, they didn't have a bye. Because I see that they beat Houston week 1. They lost to you week 3. They beat Alamo City this week. I'm having a hard time finding their week. It's their week 1 game is what I'm missing. Never mind.
Oh,
I was just trying to see because they lost to Fort Worth. Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. So let me ask you this. This is my follow-up question for you and for this division, and it revolves around DC. DC loses to Fort Worth, but they beat Houston. They lose to Baltimore, but they beat whoever the other team was. They beat. What do you attribute to DC's inconsistencies? Because like you said, Shabazz has been efficient. We know Kevin Say's a beast. Everybody knows Kevin Say's going to run all over you every week. Why aren't they 3-1 or 4-0 right now?
I believe it all depends on the opponents and their game plan and whether or not they can execute that game plan well. Because it's kind of hard to stop a running game with a back like Kevin Say. He reminds me, if I want to give like a NFL comparison, he kind of reminds me of LaDainian Tomlinson in terms of he just an all-around back and can do anything. It's very hard to stop. Certain defenses, they're going to have to try to contain Kevin Say, in my opinion. And if you can contain him and then force Sebastian Energy to basically have the game on his shoulders, maybe you can get the W. We were fortunate enough to do that in our first matchup against DC, and same thing with their first loss. But on the other matchups, when Kevin Say gets over 100 yards, scores touchdowns, he's just been an offensive beast. DC and Sebastian doesn't have to worry about, carrying the team on his shoulders. I think DC is going to be a hard team to stop with that running game, and they got one running back and two fullbacks. So
Yeah.
that's kind of hard to stop a running game when you got two fullbacks ready to open up a can of whoop butt on an unsuspecting lineman.
And then when you try, Shabazz, goes 27
Beat
for
you.
28. Yeah, it's unbelievable. All right, T. Roy, thanks for breaking that down. I will say this though, interesting. So DC has Arizona, Vegas, and San Diego on their schedule upcoming still. So that'll be interesting to see how they do in that stretch of games as well. Moving on to the East, Tyler. A very surprising, I think, to most people, 4-0 Atlanta team, a sliding Jacksonville team that everybody was high on 2 weeks in, a Louisiana team that's now 3-1, very kind of quietly a 3-1, and then Florida. Break down these games this week, and then let's talk about your comment from last week about Florida. But go ahead and break the division down first.
Yeah, I love how you said it, and then there's Florida because that's.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say about them.
It's a whole. I mean, T-Roy said they got to open up another can of whoop butt, but we got to open up a can of what the hell is this for Florida? That's what we got to.
Yeah.
That's what we got to unpack because I said it there during halftime last night. Florida's offense just looks sloppy. It's like it was more patchwork than a script. Because you know how coaches love to script their game plans out, but it just doesn't seem like there's a cohesive thought process going into putting that game plan together, at least at this point. And I was talking with Ron Haynes after the game. He was doing stats, fantastic guy doing stats, did his first game doing offense for the stats crew with Florida's game last night. It's hard to watch.
Yeah.
And I don't make these comments about Florida. I don't make these comments about how their game plan or anything lightly because we all know the caliber of that organization. We all know the caliber that Mighty has brought to the table. We know the up and coming offensive and defensive mind that is Art Vandelay. We know that this team can be good, but is it because the other teams around him have gotten that much better? I think it is. I think other teams have seen what Florida has done. They know they try to get the ball to Biletska in the ground and let Cochran try and throw deep. 6 interceptions this past weekend for Ron Cochran.
Yeah, very young.
He's at 15.
For sure. Yeah,
15, which I said on the post-game show. He's got 31 as his career high. He's done that 3 times in his career, thrown 31 interceptions in a regular season. At this point, he's on pace for 45 interceptions.
That's crazy.
Which we all know they'll try and make adjustments, but the East, that's the biggest storyline right now in the East or in the SFL, in my opinion, is that Florida is not Florida. Something's in the water. Something's in. They look. I was going to say it last night, but I'm going to say it here. They look much less like the Miracle from Miami than they do the flunk from Lauderdale at this point. That's the eye test for me right now. They don't pass the eye test. And let's go quickly to the rest of the East Division because it's not just Florida in that division. We have 3 good teams right now. Jacksonville sliding, tough loss versus Atlanta. Atlanta 4-0, having a fantastic season. BDG is playing well, getting opportunities for Bryant Dynasty to make plays in the air because he's being this effective on the ground. And it showed again when they played Jacksonville. And Louisiana, 3-1, as you mentioned, very quietly.
Mm-hmm.
And they took down a steady, not coasting, but a steady Indianapolis team where very underrated ball game, Louisiana and Indianapolis. Both teams were over 50% on third down conversions. Both teams only had 1 turnover, and both teams had some really quality drives. Ultimately, were stymied because of 2 good defenses. So the win for Louisiana against Indianapolis is going to look really good for them later down the road.
So Corey's going to ask you a question, but Doug Day in the chat, Doyle retires and Florida goes 0-4. I'm pretty sure that's not the reason, bro. Corey, what's your question for Tyler about this East Division?
Damn, I didn't want to be that muted guy. I don't want to cross that damn bridge.
It's always better to pause than it is to be muted, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, as Florida aside, we know they're having some struggles of their own, Tyler. But with Atlanta and Louisiana looking strong, I mean, who do you think is going to – I mean, obviously you think Louisiana is going to come out on top. But, I mean, do you have any more – how am I going to put this? Do you think this division could eventually turn into maybe the next South Division, be a little bit more aggressive if Florida could turn this around somehow?
So you may have not seen my last couple of picks over the past 2 weeks on the show, but I have picked against Louisiana twice and have failed miserably against picking against my own team because I don't know about Louisiana. I am very happy that we're winning. I am very happy that we have come out and played against some very tough opponents. Indianapolis being our toughest test yet this season and coming away with a victory. And I will have to say, no, the East Division is not the next South Division. I think the Central is by far heads and shoulders above East Division in terms of this point. Will it be a very tough battle this season for the East Division crown? Yes, it will. It'll be a 3-team fight. Jacksonville, Atlanta, and Louisiana. But for it to be the next South Division, you need 4 teams, and unfortunately, the East doesn't have 4 teams.
Yeah, they sure don't. All right, Tyler, thanks for breaking down the East. And before we get to Gunny's Firewatch, we have one more division that Corey's going to break down for us, the North Division. And Corey, let's be honest, this whole division is upside down this season. I mean, we thought London was going to run away with it, and they've lost 2 games already at the gate, 1 to Canton. Motor City lost close games to both San Diego and Arizona, so they're like right on the cusp. And of course, you got Queen City rebuilding. As you break down this week's games, I'm very intrigued to know what you think specifically about the Canton upset over London.
That one, I will say I'm surprised, but I'm not too shocked. I mean, they lost many good players in the offseason to free agency. So they're kind of in a rebuilding of themselves. I mean, they're trying to bring back some of that magic they had last season and get back to that being that powerhouse. But I will say, I mean, just that was one of the games that I was able to actually watch in its entirety, and that was just it kind of shocked me how Kansas came back and just stopped them. I mean, just fourth quarter, they were down, but just stopped everything, and especially with the 2 fumbles, the 2 forced fumbles and the fumble recoveries late in the game, that really, really hurt London big time. So I'd like to see them recover and try to get back to where they were, but I just don't think it's going to happen as quickly as many of us think. Canton, they're making their strides, trying to get their footing, and they're not doing a horrible job at it. They're making progress. Queen City, let's face it, they got a lot of work to do.
They were on a bye this week, I believe, weren't they? Queen City.
They had a bye this week. They take on Denver in their next matchup. So what do you think about Motor City
losing to San Diego by only 8 and now losing to Arizona by only 7? It seems like they're like right there on the cusp.
I think that's kind of another one of those that they're just trying to find their footing. They're trying to, and they're getting in, they're gauging it. I think they just need to find that last little bit that makes it click. And they might be a team that, might be a force to be reckoned with in the next season or 2.
They might be. What do you think about
that was a close game. That was a very close game with Arizona.
Yeah, I mean Arizona had to win it at the end, right? I didn't see the whole thing, but
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. I think that's what it was.
Do you think this three tight end set of theirs is giving teams problems now? It seemed like they weren't that successful with it last season, but now all of a sudden it seems like it's right there working. I don't know.
It may be working. I can't tell if it's just a fluke, but whatever they're doing, if they keep it up and, they make their adjustments where needed, they'll be able to start coming up on top on some of these close games. They're not that far out of reach.
Well, they put 20 on Arizona. I'm trying to see what the San Diego score was. I think it was like 28 something maybe.
Well, which one, Arizona?
Yeah, well, no, they scored 20 against Arizona. I'm trying to when they played San Diego. I think that was week 2. Let me look here. No, that was. Oh no, it was week 3. It was last week. Oh, so they had to play us back-to-back weeks. That's a tough schedule. 35-27. So they put 27 on San Diego. They put 20 on Arizona.
Yes.
With a 3 tight end offense. I think. Yeah, I think they're right there. To be honest with you, I think Motor City's looking good.
They were one of those teams that you just looked at, and I'm not gonna lie. The first thing I saw them last season, I was thinking of Cleveland Browns from a few years back when they were struggling, but. They're starting to come in their own. They got something going. If they just keep it up, they're going to make things happen.
I agree with that. Let's see. That was it, huh? Canton and London played each other. Motor City. We talked about Queen State had a bye. That was a quick, easy division for you, bro. Easy money. All right, Corey. Thanks for that. Appreciate that, folks. It's time. This is basically halftime of the show when Gunny comes in for Gunny's Fire Watch. Let us know, I guess, who to watch and who's on fire. Gunny, what's going on? How's it going? How you been? What's going on?
I'm good. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great, man. What have you been up to lately?
I just want to say pause to see if Harish is paying attention.
He is. Look at Ray already on top of things in the chat.
I see that.
She is on top of things. See, that's why we didn't make it a command, because we have Ray. Why do you need commands when you have Ray? You know what I'm saying?
No, that's true.
All right. I've got your stuff queued up, so whenever you're ready, Gunny.
All right, we're just going to go over some defensive leaders through Season 4 of Season 20. Total tackles is led by Tank Bennett, strong safety, Louisiana, 50 tackles. Second is 47, linebacker David Harrell of Seattle, and the bronze medal is 45, strong safety John Stamango of the Charleston Predators. Solo tackles leader is Jorge Torres with 37, strong safety Jacksonville. Assisted tackle leaders, 2 tied with 16, Matthew Alvarado of Mexico City, linebacker, and free safety Bob Funk of Canton, each with 16. Sack totals, there's 1 with 6 and 2 with 5. Leading is Saron Yates, defensive tackle Baltimore. Second place, tied for the silver medal, Hunter Norwood, defensive tackle Arizona, and Cam Crosby, defensive tackle of London. Half sacks of 3, Forrest Dalton, defensive end Jacksonville, and 3, Taquan Hale, defensive end Jacksonville. Tackles per game average, the leaders at 12.7, Zed Markov, linebacker Houston, 12.7, Maurice Lloyd, linebacker Las Vegas, and 12.5, Tank Bennett, strong safety, Louisiana. Tackles for loss leaders, leading off defensive end with 11, Forrest Dalton, Jacksonville. Defensive tackle with 10, Hunter Norwood, Arizona. And linebacker 10, David Harrell with Seattle. Pass deflections led by Moose Papino of Atlanta, free safety with 8, and also tied with 8 is linebacker Chuck Diesel of Louisiana. Interceptions led by King Rashid, Motor City. He has 8. Second place is a tie with John Barnett of Sioux Falls and Tom Krieg of San Diego. They each have 5. Interceptions for touchdowns, there's 3 players that have ran back 2 touchdowns already this year. Those are Justin Raside of Las Vegas, Tanner Hendricks of San Diego, and Andrew Francis of Florida. Forced fumbles, there's been 28 of them. Everybody's tied with 1. And fumble recoveries, there's been 15 of them, also just shared by 1 person. If you haven't been in the Survivor pool that Johnny Pickler puts out every year, there's 37 active entries this past weekend. There were 17 that won, 20 that lost. The big losses, London had 7 picks, they lost. Los Angeles had 7 picks, they lost. Florida had 4, lost. Alamo City 1 loss. San Diego had 1 loss. So, but Johnny just made some money this weekend. Whoever came out of that escaped from that. I was 3-1. London let me down, losing the can, but I still got some money left in the pot. It's an honor having T. Roy Gaines on the show, Tyler Falk, El Presidente, Bo Martin Jr., the stats guru, Corey Minner, and, of course, you, Dave. It's always a pleasure being on the show. Also, I want to thank Colin Northrup and Nick Northrup for their broadcast on the Alamo City game this past weekend. Outstanding job. And another shout-out to another broadcaster. He was funny as hell. His name is Chris Slovak. If you haven't heard one of his announcements, you need to. He is outstanding. Dave, this episode was brought to you by Bucky's Beaver Nuggets. Go to a Bucky's near you. And Dave, that is all.
Gunny, I don't know if you heard at the beginning of the show. Did you hear me say I ate a whole freaking bag of the Bucky's Cheetos? Have you had those?
I did hear you say that.
Have you had them?
I have not.
Dude, don't eat them, because once you start eating them, it's like crack. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it.
All right, I'm going to go try some now.
Shit, I knew I should have told Gunny. All right, Gunny, thanks for doing that, bro. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
You got it. There's something else I wanted to say. Oh, speaking of El Presidente, I was just thinking, Bo, do you think who's going to have better numbers tonight, the State of the Union address or Access Live?
I mean, if I got anything to say about it, it's going to be Access Live.
President v. President.
If I got anything to say about it, it's going to be Access Live. I mean, I know where the priorities should be, you know, and I'll be if anybody, you know, would rather watch, you know, Joe Biden over me, then I don't know what the priorities
Those are. Some
I mean,
messed
come on.
up priorities. I agree with you. Speaking of
confused.
priorities, let's talk about my favorite division. Let's see if are you going to bring the hammer to San Diego for finally losing their first game, or what? Before you get started though, what do you think about that Motor City? So Motor City played us tight. We only beat them by 8. They played Arizona tight. Arizona only beat them by 7, bro. Is that a testament to Motor City, or do you think Arizona and San Diego just didn't play well those weeks?
Motor City is how can I put this? You know the fighting style Drunken Master?
Yeah.
That's Motor City. You know, they're just so very unorthodox that I think that people are having a hard time figuring them out, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, right?
That's fucking hilarious.
You know, I think that they're just, nobody knows what they're gonna do from one day to the next, and I think that's actually working in their favor.
I'm fucking crying.
You know, that said, they have to figure out a way to put it all together. Ibrahim Crieta has got to do a little bit more. He can't just be the guy that he's been and expect for them to push them over the top. So, you know, and I know that Motor City was not my team, so I'm not going to go too much into detail. Right. I will say that Motor City is quite the enigma, and they are something to watch. I'm interested to see how they'll finish up and how they'll fare. But I think they'll continue to do okay, only because of how unorthodox they are.
Gotcha.
That Drunken Master fighting style.
There you go. So what about this West Division?
Now, the West Division, there is now a clear favorite in the West Division. It was a little bit muddy for a time, but there is now a clear favorite sitting at 4-0, and that's the Arizona Scorpions. You know, and what I will say about Arizona is this: if you look back at Arizona's wins, none of their wins have been really pretty. You know, and this one was no different. I actually had a chance to watch this game. It was ugly for Arizona for the majority of the game. They were down by, I want to say, 17-3. or it was like 17-3 or 20-3. There was something like that. They were down, and they had to literally fight and claw their way back into the game. They literally did not lead the entire game until about 2 minutes or so left in the game. That's when they finally took the lead. And even then, Motor City had a shot to come back and win. And just, Ibrahim Creator, I think that's asking a little bit too much of him at this particular point in his career to come back and win the game. But, Arizona has found ways to win. Ashley Jackson had perhaps her worst game of the season. 14 of 30 with a 46% completion ratio, 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. You don't expect to read those stats and say that a team won the game. So that says a lot about the way that Arizona's defense was able to clamp down on Ibrahim Creator. And it doesn't hurt Arizona, and it didn't help Motor City that their running game is pretty much non-existent. Christopher Dean, is still developing. So I think Arizona was actually able to key in on Christopher Dean and shut him down. And then the only thing they had to do was worry about what Ibrahim Creator could do. So, but they found a way to win. And that's what Arizona is known for. They're not necessarily known for blowouts, but they're known for winning. And they found a way to win. And they sit at the top of the division. And to be honest, they are, in my opinion, right now, they're the number 2 team in the league. Moving on to Denver. Denver had a bye this week. So they were celebrating their victory in the Kicker Bowl that took place the week prior with Canton and Denver, where Canton was able to muster up 1 field goal, and Denver was able to muster up 4. So they won the game. Their rookie kicker was able to shine and get 4 out of 5 field goals. So Denver will be, trying to take some of that momentum into Queen City this weekend to try to get back to 500. They currently sit at 1-2, which leaves us with a really great game. And I know you may not necessarily feel that way because you ended up coming out on a losing.
Yeah, it was a great game though. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was granted you guys came out on the losing end of it, but it was a really great game. But I'll tell you this, Las Vegas surprised me. I did not expect Las Vegas to come, and apparently you guys didn't either. I mean, let's be honest. I did not expect Las Vegas to come out and sling the rock like they did. I mean, Eric Price did his best Brett Favre impression. He was just kind of slinging the ball recklessly all over the field and just hoping, somebody would catch it. And, granted, it was an interception fest. Let's be honest, because Eric Price threw 6 and Scar Patterson threw 5. So, I mean, there was 11 total interceptions throughout the game. But I think what made this game so interesting, and I'm not going to go real hard against San Diego as far as, you guys taking the L in this one. But I think what really cost San Diego the game is what was done with the interceptions. San Diego got 5 interceptions, so it's not like you guys didn't have opportunity to cash in just like they did in Las Vegas.
6 interceptions, I think, didn't we?
What's that?
Didn't we have 6 interceptions?
Did you have? Was it the other way around? Did I get that one wrong?
We had 6, and then they had 5, and then we fumbled once. So yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. So there was 12 turnovers.
Yeah, 12.
So Eric Price threw 6 and Scar Patterson threw 5.
Right.
Yeah. But what it was is that what Las Vegas was able to do with their turnovers that won them the game, because looking at the numbers, there isn't a huge discrepancy in the passing yards. The passing yards are almost exactly even. The Vegas had 392, San Diego had 396. Now that was huge for me because Las Vegas out San Diego, if you ask me.
That's a good point. That's a good way to put it, actually.
4 pass touchdowns for Las Vegas, only 2 pass touchdowns for Scar Patterson and that high-powered San Diego Mavericks offense. Just like we were talking about what, everybody knows what Kevin Say is going to do. Everybody knows what Scar Patterson's going to do. Listen, he didn't get to 10,000 yards as fast as he did without sling. So everybody knows if you're playing San Diego, they're called the Mavericks for a reason. You got to try to stop that air attack. but good luck trying to stop it. But Las Vegas didn't even try to stop it. What Las Vegas did was they literally out San Diego'd San Diego. They figured, okay, well, if San Diego's going to sling the rock, we just got to sling it with them.
Yeah,
And
Doug Britton
San
killed
Diego
us.
dominated the time of possession, almost 27 minutes to under 17 minutes for Las Vegas. So Las Vegas pretty much was, had the ball a lot less time. But what happened was what Las Vegas was able to do with the ball when they had it. So I think that caught San Diego completely off guard. They weren't ready for that air attack, and who would be? Because Las Vegas isn't necessarily known for that air attack, but I gotta imagine that the next team that plays them, Las Vegas has speak of the devil, Las Vegas has Motor City coming up this weekend.
Oh snap!
Dude,
poor Motor City.
I gotta imagine that's
a shitty schedule, man. You got to play San Diego, Arizona, and now Vegas back to back to back.
Yeah, it is.
Terrible.
It is. But like I said, we'll talk about that when we get to the pick'em. But Las Vegas has Motor City this weekend, and you never know what to expect out of Motor City. So good luck trying to strategize for them.
Right.
So that should be a really good game, believe it or not. But as far as the West Division, if we're being honest, I like what Las Vegas did, but if we're being honest, this is a 2-team race. And everybody else is going to try to eke out a playoff spot maybe, but this is a 2-team race here. So we'll see what happens in the West.
Wait, and which 2 teams are you talking about?
Arizona 1, San Diego 2.
Okay, I just want to make sure you were talking about Arizona and Vegas because then we got to fight. So, all right, hey Corey, if you don't, do you have just a quick question for Bo because we're running behind and our owner's box guest is in the green room right now waiting to jump on. So I want to zip through this stuff real quick.
No, we can continue on. I mean, he covered that division pretty damn well. So we're just going to leave it at that.
All right, sounds good. We can always come back to it too. Let's move on to the Central Division. T-Roy, this Monday night we've got a great matchup coming up with Indianapolis and Minnesota. But let's talk about this past week. I think Tulsa was on a bye. I believe was Sioux Falls on a bye as well.
Yes, they were.
Minnesota takes their first loss, which is, I mean, it was Vancouver. So I don't know what how much you can say about that. And then Indianapolis beat who did they play?
They lost to Louisiana.
Oh, lost to Louisiana. That's right. So break down this week 4 Central Division for us.
All right. Well, as you already mentioned, Minnesota, actually both teams that played in Central Division did unfortunately lost. With Minnesota, they just got off a slow start on offense, and Vancouver was able to just take advantage of that. Their offense is scary. They almost came back and made the game, and they would have gotten that onside kick. It would have been a little bit different story. But Minnesota just wasn't able to get on track on offense until late in the game. And Vancouver was very opportunistic, had no problem scoring when they needed to score, and the game was just out of hand. It was too little too late for the Legend, but they're scary. They'll be back. Running game for Minnesota was shut down, and I believe that was also a factor in their loss with, unfortunately, Colin Hart just got 5 yards. Got 5 yards in that game. 1 yard per carry. I had a day like that too, so I know how rough that is. That's the reason why I'm a fullback now, y'all.
Is that why?
Well, I know how rough that is. So they'll focus on the running game next week. They'll be ready for their next opportunity, and then with Louisiana and Indy. What's hurting Louisiana right now is that their running back is not getting enough production yet, and that will change over time. But the running game for Indy is currently, I want to say, at the bottom 5 of the league.
That's Pierce,
so once
I believe, right?
Pierce
is his name?
Yeah, that was Pierce, yeah. So he's currently struggling right now, but as the season goes along, as progressions get better, his player gets better, Indy's going to be able to be a more well-balanced attack. They, of course, have their top wide receiver. I think that's their highlight for sure is Ryan Roosevelt. Leads the league currently with 502 yards receiving, 6 receiving touchdowns. He's a nightmare. If the running game catches up to their passing game, I think Indy is going to be very hard to defeat. And they probably get a lot of wins on some unsuspecting teams later on this season. But time possession is what hurt them against Louisiana. Louisiana won the time possession war, and Indy couldn't stop the monster that is Randy Squarebush. He just dominated them. I just looking at the replay of the game, it seemed like Randy Squarebush was able to do whatever he needed to do to help them get the W. Then the passing game just took over because they had the time possession. Defense was tired. Very good game plan by the Louisiana Revolution against Indy. And then, of course, the two teams that we're talking about in this division, Tulsa and Sioux Falls, both had a bye.
Let me ask you, I'm just going to ask you a really quick follow-up question. Do you think more than one team out of the Central makes the playoffs? I think I see Minnesota making it. Do you see maybe Tulsa or anybody else making the playoffs in this division?
I'm going to say 2. And if I had to guess the second one, I'm liking how Tulsa's doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably say it would be Minnesota and Tulsa. I would not be surprised if Indy makes it. If Sioux Falls just work on their offense because they have the weapons. It's not been working out for them. If they get their offense together, they will make a run for it at the end of the season. But right now, if I have to make a guess, it'll be Minnesota and Tulsa.
Gotcha. All right. T-Roy, thanks for breaking that down. We have one more division, and then Frank Gooden will be coming on for this week's version of the Owner Box, and that is the Pacific Division, or as Tyler called it at one point, Vancouver and everybody else. Did Portland change your mind? See, normally I would say a Portland victory over Florida is a game changer, but let's be honest, this isn't the same Florida team we're used to. Seattle got their first win, now albeit last second field goal.
A first away victory in franchise history is a first away victory in franchise history, Dave.
And unfortunately, though, it came against LA, which puts LA now at 0-3 or 0-4 or whatever. So break these games down for us, especially, man, dude, that Seattle LA game, that was fun.
That was a good game to watch. And Seattle, the nemesis, backstabbing opponents with turnovers, very, very nice to see it. Especially Amar Bryant Jr. with the clutch interception late on the ball game, which set up the game-winning field goal drive, Dave. A very good showing from Seattle's defense. For the offense, though, again, we did see a little bit of inconsistency, which we know we're accustomed to seeing now by Seattle. Trellis Blanton, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, about a 65% completion percentage. The one thing that really helped them, though, was third downs and time of possession. Being able to convert 50% of their third downs compared to LA only converting 25% of their third downs and holding the ball roughly about 5.5 minutes more than LA certainly had its advantages for Seattle. I'm pretty sure most of us in the league are very happy to see Seattle finally get off the schneid this season, at the expense, though, of LA. And I can't remember. I think it was Curtis who just was ribbing Rochelle last night, and
it probably was.
Well, he made it sound like L.A. Into the not Los Angeles, but who's anyway. That kind of. I feel so bad for Rochelle and for Tim and everybody over there in L.A. Just a whole bunch of nice people over there. Seattle had to do it to him. Well, you mentioned it also, Vancouver and everybody else practically. Though it kind of doesn't seem like Vancouver is typical Vancouver. They're not airing it out with too much efficiency now. They kind of had to scrounge their way past Minnesota, a very tough Minnesota team, but they got the job done. And then let's talk Portland. It's not necessarily a game changer anymore, but beating Florida, but 6 turnovers when you commit 0, which is massive for everybody in Portland. Not committing a single turnover in a ball game, that's huge. That's a huge milestone for that club. And of course, we knew they're like their bread and butter. And I'm going to use Chris Curtis's saying again. They're like a mini Atlanta. They run through Zeke Love. Atlanta runs through BDG. the passing game there has to be adequate in order for them to win games. That's how Portland won this past Monday.
There is something refreshing, though, I feel like, about Portland being 2-2 and looking at least like they could potentially challenge Vancouver when all we've talked about is it's Vancouver and everybody else. There's something cool about that, I think. I like it.
I like it as well. I think they'll hover right if again, still at 1/3 of the way of the season. I forecast them getting around 6-6 this season. I still think there's a couple things to iron out, of course, but winning 2 straight after losing 2 straight to open up the season definitely sends good omens their way.
Absolutely. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna move the show around a little bit. We're gonna bring Frank on right now, and then we're gonna go back and I'm gonna allow Corey to ask Bo a question about the South and Tyler a question about the Pacific, and then we'll go on to Diva of the Weeks and pick them, and then that'll be the show. But let's move on to the owner's box since we're running behind, and Frank has been gracious enough to come in and give us some of his time. Frank Gooden, the owner of Jacksonville. Frank, how you doing tonight? Welcome to the show.
What's happening? Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good. You're nice and loud, actually. I'm going to turn you down just a tad. You're good.
Nice.
Frank, how you been, bro?
Doing well, working and busy.
Working and busy. Story of everybody's life, I think. The point of the owner's box segment now is to kind of talk about how some of the owners got in, heard about the SFL, got into the league, let people know kind of, what did this look like a while back before everybody got here 5 minutes ago. So my first question to you is, when and how did you hear about the SFL originally?
So when this was heard about the SFL back in the early part of 2015, actually, I think a good friend of mine from a different league, TJ, I think gave me the heads up. TJ, who is part of the infamous tandem over at Baltimore. We were on the Gridiron, a different league called the Gridiron League together. And he gave me a heads up. He was like, hey, man, there's a league over here called the Simulation Football League. And it might be something that you're interested in. Picked out one of the games, and I was actually hooked. In fact, my very first, I still have the email I sent Ken. This was April 3rd, 2015. I sent him an email, and I led with this sentence. When I stumbled into an SFL game in progress this past Sunday, I stumbled into greatness.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey,
yeah, that was 8 years ago.
What season was that?
That was season 4.
Season 4. Okay, so you stumbled across it season 4, and so you didn't get into season 4, right? You didn't start as a player or anything until season 5?
Yeah, I came in as an owner in season 5.
Okay, so you got ownership pretty quick, and then back then you guys were the Tallahassee Pride, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And you got to remember, back then it was only a few teams. I think I don't remember exactly, but maybe 8 teams at the time. Okay. Maybe me and Ramos came in the season. Maybe we made 8 or 10. I think Ramos probably would remember.
Ramos mentioned, he was on a couple weeks ago and mentioned how when you guys used to play the games, it would just be basically both owners and the streamer watching the game, and that was it.
So few people. Yeah, definitely less than 10 people. 5.
That's great. So tell us about, how did Tallahassee get started? Why did you pick Tallahassee? And take us through a little bit of Tallahassee's success through, starting in season 5 up until you changed to Jacksonville.
Okay. Well, so when I got ownership, I just didn't want to be like Jacksonville was having, just horrible years, year after year after year. In the NFL, Jacksonville Jags. Mm-hmm. And I got my MFA from Florida State in Tallahassee. I was always, just attached to Tallahassee in a lot of different ways. Haven't gotten my there. So I was like, you know what? I'm not necessarily, feeling, anything with Jacksonville's name on it right now. And I love Tallahassee. And so, you know what? Tallahassee is a football city with the Seminoles and HBCU there, the Rattlers. And so I was like, I'm going to go ahead and name it, after that city. And then for me, Tallahassee Pride. I'm a Leo. I just wanted to bring that in, something having to do with lion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pride is a natural good name for that. So what was behind the change from Tallahassee Pride to Jacksonville Kings?
I just wanted to rebrand and actually bring the team like as it was. So you talk about when that happened, that was many seasons later. Now you're talking Jacksonville Kings, maybe what season?
I think it was like 14 or 15,
13.
maybe something like that. Yeah.
No, not that late, but maybe 13.
13.
Yeah, and this is after having. When we came in, you asked me just now. What about the success of the team? We were 6-2 in season 5, 7-5. Season 6, we had undefeated season in season 10. I went to the chip game twice. So for me, we were growing, the league was growing, and so everybody, we just got a whole lot more serious about the branding. So as that happened, I'm just continued to consistently increase the quality of the product, became a lot more serious about the brand. I'm from Jacksonville. Let me now go ahead and rebrand.
So you broke up there just for a second. I want to double check. You said in season 10 you went to the chip, and then did I hear you say you've been to the championship twice?
Yeah, we went to the championship game in season 10 and in 11. We played Alaska both times.
Oh, and
season
10 we ran into that mighty team.
Yeah, that's what happened. We were undefeated all the way up into the championship game. Yeah, that was 12-0. Then lost in the championship game, and then the next season, Mighty's team was undefeated in season 11, and I was hoping to return the favor, and we came so close. But yeah, we lost both times.
Oh, that's there's nothing worse than that, and I don't think is Mighty the only one that's gone undefeated and won the championship just that one time.
Yeah.
I think.
I have to think back. I think so.
Because I think Baltimore lost a couple last seasons. They've lost a game in the regular season, and I think the one season that they went undefeated, they lost the championship or something, if I'm not mistaken. I saw T-Roy shaking his head, but
yeah, T-Pat, he went undefeated with his team, Minneapolis.
Okay.
Maulers.
Yep.
That was back in season 4. Yeah, that was the season before I joined. Yep.
So did you, as you look back, Frank, I mean, you've been here now 15 seasons. There's been obvious changes, right? The amount of people, the amount of teams, the amount of TV exposure, the bigger drafts, all that stuff that comes with growth. But internally or within the game itself or among the owners, or maybe, what would you say is a change that has happened that maybe people don't notice or recognize because they see all the other big growth?
That has happened. Don't.
Oh.
Here's what I say. I'll say that the change that has happened always been consistent. In other words, we've consistently grown every season. What people I think don't see is because M brings, he does everything that he has in increasing the quality of the product every season. I think people don't necessarily see that, how much work it to work behind the scenes. We are so accustomed now to the high level and the quality of the product. We're accustomed to it. We're used to it. So in many ways, you can say we might be annoyed by it. We don't necessarily, any good thing, people don't necessarily think about just how hard it is to create and maintain that. So if anything, I think what we don't see is that work ethic, excellent work that the people at the top, not just Cam, but really, I call them the top brass, people that help out. It's I think that's what probably I missed.
So 2 more questions for you. One is, you've been here 15 seasons. What has kept you here in the SFL that long?
Just purely a competitive spirit. You know what I'm saying? You've got a situation where you always are always really excited when you know. So about that, it's that adrenaline of leading a group of guys who all want to work together to win, and then the chess match. So when we talk about these games and we talk about what happens, the breakdowns all the time, we can really see, little stabs at what's happening on the field. But what's underrated is the actual chess match, and you may know that they have overcompensated a little bit in a game that led certain players to not necessarily have as good a game as they could have, because on the other side, the other coach submitted a game plan that really, was one that I didn't expect or thought they would, turn left when they went right.
Right.
So yeah, that chess match and of course winning and competitive spirit, that's what brings.
All right, last question, Frank, and then I'll let you go. How are you feeling about the game change going into season 21? And have you had much experience with the game yet and building the stadium and doing all that stuff?
So I'm optimistic about it because I think it's I'd say the wise or the right decision for leadership. I don't think Cam takes these kind of decisions lightly. So I get teased about it. We're in the owner's box. People, they'll tell you that I'm one of the people who's almost always voting whatever he decides. This Tecmo Bowl, Cam said, we're going to Tecmo Bowl. Frank will be the number one cheerleader.
Actually, I saw a comment about that.
yeah. And I take that because, on my end, I see you have to dare to be great. I'm saying greatness isn't just something that a lot of times you put things on the line. I sat there and watched Cam years ago decide that he was going to get everything he had and making it great. And sure enough, stuff on the line, he could have done other things. His livelihood, he could have chased other type of paths. So, that to me, that's part of, what is happening here. He's deciding that it's for the benefit of the league to take it to another platform, and he's daring to be great, and he's going to do everything he can to do it. Me personally, I don't have a whole lot of experience with 2K4, and so it's going to be a learning curve for me. It's going to be very, it's still 2K, but it's a different game. So I'm looking forward to that challenge. I think in many ways it probably levels the playing field. Mm-hmm. People like me had advantage 2K8 over, say, newer coaches who are just coming to the game, 8 since out in 2007.
Right.
But this, I think that it's going to level the playing. Not too many people just been rocking hard with 2 or fun beginning. A few, but not too many.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the change. I'm optimistic about the change. Good for the league. You know what? If it for whatever reason doesn't work, you can always come right back to 2K.
Agreed. Well, Frank, I want to thank you for taking time out of your evening tonight to come join us in the owner's box, giving us a little history on Tallahassee and Jacksonville and your trip through the SFL. And don't be a stranger, and we'd love to have you on the show again in the future.
Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate the invite.
All right, you got it, bro.
Go Kings.
There you go. All right, Frank Gooden, ladies and gentlemen, owner of the Jacksonville Kings, formerly the Tallahassee Pride. Been to a couple chips. One of those seasons almost went undefeated all the way through. And we appreciate him being here. I'm going to jump back real quick to the West. Corey, do you have a question for Bo about the West Division? And then I'm going to see if you have one for Tyler for the Pacific, and then we'll move on to Diva of the Week.
Hey, Bo, so as mentioned earlier when you were talking about the West Division, one of the things you mentioned is and as we all see, Arizona, I mean, they're winning the games, but it's not like they're huge blowouts. They're not, it's nothing to write home about. Do you think it's going to be like this all season for them, or do you think they're going to pull away and start making these big wins and, put a little point spread between them and the other team?
I think that, to be honest, that Eddie's attention is split right now. And I think that's the reason why Arizona looks good sometimes and they struggle at other times. I think Eddie's attention is split right now between All-Pro 2K8 and the new game that we're looking at going forward to in season 21. I think Eddie is trying to decide, whether or not, number one, whether he wants to stay in the league and to the new game, and if so, he's already delving in, getting an understanding of the new game, and as such, I think his attentions are a little bit split. That said, Eddie's one of the best minds in the SFL when it comes to game planning, and I think that once Eddie gets a handle on the new game and he goes back to focusing on this game, I think that Arizona's in place for another deep playoff run. I don't think they'll go undefeated, but I do believe that they're in position for another really deep playoff run. And it's going to be. Do I think it's going to be another a repeat repeat championship between Arizona and Baltimore? That's yet to be seen. But I do believe that Arizona gets together. You can never, just like we were talking about Mighty, even at 0-4, you can never count out Eddie Gage. I know they're 4-0, but you look at their wins and they're not spectacular, true enough, but they're winning. And at the end of the day, I don't care how you win, as long as you win, just win, baby. And so I believe that if they can get through their schedule, I can easily see them going, 9-3 or 10-2.
Before I have Corey ask his question, Tyler Bowe, the only thing I would respond to that is I would say Eddie's not the only guy focusing on 2 games right now, though. So
no,
there's a lot of,
you're right.
I'm not
saying that he is. I'm just saying that that I think that, to be honest, I think that Arizona could be more dominant than they are if he wasn't splitting his time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Corey, what do you have for Tyler for the Pacific before we move on to Diva of the Week?
Fortunately, with Vancouver division, I don't really have a good question for that. I mean, just one comment. I mean, it just I'd like to see how LA is going to come around from this slump they're in. More or less of a question, more of a comment. It's just they're in a slump. I'd like to see how they're going to pull out of this one.
What do you think about what do you think about that, Tyler? You think LA's going to come out of this slump, or what do you think?
It'd be interesting to see what kind of betting game we can get between Florida and LA at this point, because they both seem to be unable to put.
Do they play? Does anybody know if they play each other? Do they?
We do the 2-10 game show. Who gets to 2-10 first? Who gets their first win? Will it be week 5 or week 11? I have no idea at this point.
I want to check the schedule and see if they play. I think they do. Since they played Portland, they probably play that whole division, so that'd be interesting to see that. All right, folks, let's move on to Diva of the Week. Last week, and the last couple of weeks, I forgot who all the other non-winners were each week, but I do have them this week. Believe it or not, I'm actually prepared. So this week for Diva of the Week, week 3, there was Topher Kiefer, Ye Verity, Robert Merrill, Chris Curtis, and Chris Komisak. And your week 3 Diva of the Week winner is, with 34% of the vote, Chris Komisak, the fullback who called his own number 3 times in week 3. So congrats to Chris Komisak. And it was I think the second place only had 23% of the vote. So it actually, Chris kind of ran away with it near the end. So congrats, Chris Komisak. I'll be shooting you a DM. I meant to DM you today, see if you could be on the show, but I forgot. So there you go.
Hardy har ran away with it.
Heyo, I'll be here all week, folks. All right, so let's go to our Week 4 Diva of the Week nominees. Bo Martin Jr., we're starting with you. I'll have everybody say their Diva of the Week nominee, and then I'll play a clip.
All right, so yeah, my Diva of the Week, you know, and I know that everybody's seen this at least.
Oh,
it never ceases to amaze me when we see the disrespectful display. And this particular person did this disrespectful display after scoring a touchdown. And it's essentially, it was the Randy Moss full moon. And so I think this might have been my first time seeing it this year. But it's definitely my first time seeing it from Bacon. I didn't expect. I got to see a moon's over my hammy.
Hey you.
I got to see a full moon by Fort Worth's starting running back Jay-Z Bacon, and because of that, he is my Diva nominee for Diva of the Week.
Well, let's check out Jay-Z's Bacon right now.
Basketball highlight needs. And Jay-Z Bacon with a nice spin move, and he sprung free down the sideline, inside the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, and dragged down finally at the 9-yard line. Jay-Z Bacon sizzling here to start the second half.
Let's take a great look at this replay again. That was just fantastic. Take a look at the spin move. Oh, my goodness. Showing some finesse right there. And, again, I said it earlier in the game. When he gets in the open field, so hard to bring down. He's just got great quickness.
Well, that's not the play, but...
Hold on. Keep watching.
They go near side. Bacon, and he finishes
up,
off
bro.
the drive just
Set
the
it
way
up.
he
Set it up.
started it.
And there you
go. There it is.
There's Jay-Z's Bacon. All right, there you go. Diva of the Week nominee number 1, Jay-Z Bacon from Fort Worth. T-Roy, who you got for your Week 4 Diva of the Week nominee?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I used to be a running back, so after seeing this play, it really shows you why this gentleman is the SFL's version of Emmitt Smith, meaning the all-time leading rusher. This gentleman consistently, every year in, year out, makes plays that make you go, what the heck? How did he do that? And on this run in the second quarter in his game versus Jacksonville, he pulled off a move that actually kind of reminds me, like he reminds me of BDG, but and I already gave it away. He reminds me of Gale Sayers, where he seems like he split in two, caused the defender to go one way while he goes the other, and took it to the house. So this is that second quarter run where he basically made a lot of people, sorry, Frank, you was just on the show, I apologize. He made a lot of people from the Kings defense lose their jock straps and broke ankles as he took one to the house in the second quarter.
I'm only on the SFL YouTube. First down, they're going to hand it off. Here's BDG.
Look out.
He's got room. A good
He
man.
gone.
He goes to the outside. He is gone. And BDG Hollywood.
And just be able to do that in full speed and not lose any speed is what's always been impressive about him since the get-go.
From 10 yards to a touchdown.
That is something else. All right, folks. So we've got 2 running backs so far. We got Jay-Z Bacon. We got BDG. Who is our third Diva of the Week nominee, Tyler?
Well, Dave, we usually see one of these a season. It's quite rare to see 2 of them a season. Hey, John Pickles and Eric Blueberry. Come on, man.
But it looks like, but it looks like they're indeed going to punt. Man, that's a tough decision there, Charles. So let's see if they can pin him deep. Hey, look at this, Charles! It's a fake! What is going on here? Nobody open! Wow! As he gets down to the 44, and Mexico City catches a break and gets even better field position than they would have got.
Putting a lot of faith in Eric Blueberry back there to pass. I mean, he's a solid punter. The rookie, the undrafted free agent.
That's enough internet for me today. I am going to wash myself with holy water to get rid of all the stupidity I saw today. That's it.
All right, that's your first one. Hold on. Here's your second one, Tyler.
Hardly see any blue behind the yellow there.
Saw one fake punt earlier this week. We're going to see another one. Back to pass is John Pickles. Plenty of time when he runs out on him. And he goes backward all the way to the 35-yard line. And it's 2 for 2 on fake punts this weekend.
I don't think we're going to be seeing that in 2K4, I hope. Go ahead.
No kidding. A special shout out to the Pause Network for providing us with the edited versions. Huge shout out to Harish and everybody over there.
Yep, Harish and Sully, thank you guys. I'm telling you, we're gonna add this to the show starting next week. We're gonna do something with the Pause Network for sure. All right, Corey, we got 3 down, 2 more to go. Who do you have for Week 4 Diva of the Week?
All right, so I'm gonna take it back to the Canton London game. Late in the fourth quarter, Vin Callier gets the ball, and then Mark Gronick comes up, says, "I don't think so," takes the ball and strips it from him, and pretty much just ruins it for London right there.
Everybody's set to go as the clock is starting to run down a little bit. A little less than 90 seconds. Pickler throws up the middle. Pass will be completed.
Oh, no!
The ball is out, and it's Canton.
Oh, no!
Yikes! Oh, and he's got more than enough for a football move. That is easily a fumble and picked up.
And what a way for London to lose, right, Corey? I mean, with 2 turnovers down the stretch, that was terrible.
Within, I think it was a minute and a half of each other, just 2 fumbles, one after another, and that was that nail in the coffin that did them in.
Unbelievable. All right, so it's on me now. Last week, I nominated a field goal kicker for kicking their first game-winning field goal of their career. This week, another field goal kicker for the first away victory in Seattle history. Here we go.
Christian Ronald Suey, who has missed 2 field goals this season already, will try and win the game from 40 yards out. From the left hash, it's a high snap, but the quarterback gets it down, the kick is up, and it is good! Seattle, 23-20 with 1 second remaining.
Christian Ronald Suey giving Seattle their Oh, I thought you were going to do that for real, Tyler.
Oh, you want me to?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Oh, dang it. Ouch, my ears. Look at poor Ray in the chat. I'm tired of reliving this shit. Yes, Christian Ronald Suey for giving Seattle almost a walk-off, 1 second left in the game. First ever franchise road victory. So congrats to those. So we have 5 nominees. Holdorf will put it in tonight or in the morning. You'll have until Friday, I think, to vote. Once the kickoff for Week 5 happens, then there will be no more voting allowed. So we've got Christian Ronald Suey. We've got, who was yours again, Corey? Sorry, Corey. You're muted. Oh shit, you're muted.
Damn
bro.
it.
You're muted,
Damn
bro.
it.
Oh, and I don't have a muted, bro. A square one. Damn it. Hold on a second. You know what we'll do? Somebody's gonna have to take one for the team. Hold on a second. Let's see. It's gonna be T-Roy. All right, T-Roy, thanks for taking one for the team, buddy. Corey, who was your Diva of the Week? Sorry, I already forgot. Sorry.
I told myself all damn day I was not going to do that. I was not going to be a Tyler.
I was not going to be a Tyler.
Not be muted. And
you wasn't a Tyler. You was a T-Roy.
You was well, tonight he was. Jeez. All right, so
Mark Gronick.
Gronick, there you go. And we got Bacon, we got BDG, and we've got the 2 punters that I don't know their names. So there you go. All right, folks, they're your Diva of the Week nominees. What's that? Actually, we should have. You know what you should have done, Tyler? You should have nominated Harish and Sully for making those videos. There's your Diva of the Week nominees. It'll be up in the server later tonight or in the morning. Let's move on to the last segment of the show. I know we're really late, but we got to get everything done, so it is what it is. Time for pick'ems, And as usual, I want to throw out a shout out and a thank you to Axel Raven for making our graphics. But before we get into them, I got to talk about last week. And let me tell you, last week's prediction was the worst week we've had all season. Look at this nonsense. 3-8, 4-7, 5-6, and 4-7. You guys suck. That's the worst. I mean, look at even week 1, everybody's 500 or above. Week 2, everybody's 500 or above. Week 3, that's about 50-50. And now look at this. This is just terrible. Absolutely terrible.
It's a bad sign when 2-10 is leading the predictions.
When Tyler's 5-6 and wins the week, that's just awful. That is awful.
And you have me on here this week. Yeah, it's not looking good right now.
It's gonna be interesting all the way around. So let's whip through these again. No breakdowns, you guys. Just give me the winners for each one. Bo, we'll start with you. Houston and Fort Worth, 8 p.m. Eastern on Friday night.
I got Houston.
Houston. T-Roy?
Houston.
Tyler?
Fort Worth.
And Corey?
You know who he has, Dave.
Oh, why? He's a Houston guy. I know. Well, I still have to ask a question.
Is he muted too?
I know. Corey, are you muted or are you just not listening to us or what?
No!
Houston.
Okay.
Damn it.
Oh, dude. All right. This time, hold on. I don't think Bo's had one yet. Hold on.
Oh, geez.
No, he was at the beginning.
Hold on.
He was at the beginning, wasn't he?
I don't know.
No, I
okay.
did not.
Okay, but just let the record show.
Has anybody ever been muted twice?
Oh, yeah.
Ever?
I don't know if anybody's done it 3 times, but let the record show that the last 2 muted bros were not for T-Roy and Bo. They were for Corey. Just want to make sure we got that straight. Let's move on to game 2 if we can. 8:15 Tulsa at Sioux Falls. Bo.
I got Tulsa.
T-Roy.
I want to say Sioux Falls.
This is actually, I think, a hard game to call, Tyler, because I think most people would lean Tulsa, but Sioux Falls they've got their moments.
I like the South Dakotans at home. Sioux Falls.
Okay, and unmuted Corey.
Tulsa.
See, look, I'm just gonna call you that every time and wish for the best. Also on Friday night, 10:15 p.m. Eastern, Portland at Vancouver. Bo.
Ooh.
I know.
Portland at Vancouver?
Yeah. If it was at Portland, I could see maybe, right?
I got Portland on the upset.
Really? All right. T-Roy.
Coin flip, Vancouver.
Tyler.
Give me the Legion.
Oh. And unmuted Corey. I'm making you a T-shirt in my store for that, by the way.
Awesome. I'll go the underdog Portland.
Okay, so real quick, Tyler and T-Roy, if this game was in Portland, would you switch your pick?
Yes.
Wow. I wonder if can we get Cam to switch it? You think Andy would be cool with that? With a resounding no. 10:30 p.m. Motor City at Vegas. What's this say? You show running behind? Yeah, you think? A little payback, I see. Sorry. Oh, I don't know what that's for. A little payback, I see. What's he talking about? Oh, are you talking about to Andy? Come on now. Andy and I are cool, but we're like buddies now. Why the awkward silence? 10:15 or 10:30.
I've been gone for a while. I don't know where that was coming from.
I don't know. 10:30 Eastern, Motor City at Vegas. Bo.
I'm gonna stick with my guns. I'm going Motor City here. Drunken Master.
Oh, dude. Yeah, actually, I hope so because that'll help us since we need some more games over Vegas. Who picked Seattle last week? Ray, who was he talking about? Oh, I got it. I got it. T-Roy, who you got here? Motor City, Vegas.
As a martial artist myself, I appreciate the Drunken Master comment he made. I'm still picking Vegas.
Oh shit, dude! I thought you were. I already wrote down Motor City, so now you have Motor
Sorry.
City. No, it's okay. I got it. You're like Drunken Master, blah blah blah, Vegas. Tyler.
I want to see the V8s put a full game together. I got the V8s this week.
Okay. Wait, is the game in? It's in Vegas though.
It's in Vegas. Yeah.
I don't know about that. Corey, unmuted Corey, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going Vegas.
Vegas. Okay. Moving on to Saturday, 1 p.m. kickoff. Carolina at DC. Bo.
Oh, it's going to be one of the better games of the weekend. I'm going DC.
I agree with that. DC. Again, now, is this game, Bo, kind of like what was the other game? We said Portland, Vancouver. If it was swapped and Carolina was at home, would you go Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, I always have faith in my teammates, and I believe that Carolina will put up a really good battle. They're still going to put a really good battle, but I believe if it was in Carolina, I'd go Carolina, but in DC, I'm going DC.
Yeah, on coin flips, I'm a lot with the home team, too. I get it. T-Roy?
Because it's a coin flip one, I say DC.
Okay. Tyler?
This is the coming out party for the Skyhawks, Carolina.
Carolina. I wonder how I didn't see how home teams did this past week. I saw the first few weeks, but not this week. Corey.
Carolina.
Ooh, look at I didn't even say unmuted, and you still did it. There you go. 1:15 p.m. Eastern, Charleston at Baltimore. Bo.
Come on, man, Baltimore.
I mean, this might be the.
And
worst.
that's not a knock on Charleston. Let me be clear. That's not a knock on Charleston.
Justin Reside. Thank God, not a panel sweep on pick like last week. The panel speaking sucked in week 4. Well, yeah, I think we covered that for sure. T-Roy, I know you got Baltimore, bro.
You know me, I don't pick my team's games. I'll just say this. It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. I put you down for Baltimore
It's
anyway.
going to be a good one.
Tyler.
You know, I could be 5 more deep, but I'd still pick Baltimore.
Right? Oh, jeez. And unmuted Corey.
I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to go Charleston. I'm going to go with them, the underdog.
Rack up that loss on his.
No takesies, backsies.
Yeah, right. 6:30 p.m. Eastern. London at Arizona. Can London get their act together, Bo?
Ooh.
Is this a playoff rematch from last season?
Yeah.
Where are they playing?
Yes. In Arizona.
In Arizona.
All right. I'm going Scorpions.
Yep. Zona and Baltimore getting a lot of love in the show chat as well. I'm sorry, you said Scorpions. Okay. T-Roy.
Fatality.
Fatality.
Is that the new?
Scorpions.
Is that the new Duval? Is that what that is?
Test your might.
It could be.
It could be, right?
Hey, Eddie, go ahead. Take that.
Tyler.
Zona.
Finish him.
We're gonna have to get Bo to do the voiceover for it. Unmuted Corey, who you got?
Arizona.
Arizona. That's a sweep. I think Arizona had a sweep last week too, if I'm not mistaken. Moving on to 6:45 p.m. Eastern, Saturday night, Denver at Queen City. Bo, who you got?
Ooh.
Yeah, this is another interesting one.
Yeah, interesting is a good choice of words. I'm going to probably be busy that time, but let's give it to Queen City.
Queen City. T-Roy.
I'm sticking with the birds.
Tyler.
Nightwings.
Nightwings. Tyler.
Why did you do this to me, Dave?
Dude, blame Cam. I didn't make the schedule.
I'll be going to refill my popcorn when this game is on.
Denver.
That's a lot of popcorn, bro. Denver? Okay. Unmuted Corey, who you got?
Let's go with Queen City.
Queen City, making a nice split.
Maybe they'll finally get it.
Okay. The nightcaps for Saturday night. The first one, 9 p.m. Eastern, Louisiana at Florida. Louisiana looking good 3-1, Bo, but does Florida finally get their first win? Are we going to see an 0-5 Florida team?
You know, it's bad because I just got finished, and I know I'm not going into this, but I just got finished saying but I don't think they get it here. 0-5 is going to be really tough to come back from, but yeah, I don't think they get it here. Louisiana.
It's in Florida, so who knows for sure. T-Roy.
Oh, it's in. I'm gonna stick with my guns.
Okay. T-Roy. No take seat back.
I'm going with Mr. Mike Ryan to the left of me right now. I'm picking Louisiana.
Louisiana. All right. Tyler, are you picking your own team this week?
No, because the adage is I picked against them 2 weeks in a row and we've won, and because something has to give, I'm picking Florida. Who
was it that does that on this show that they always pick against Arizona so they'll win, or they pick Arizona so they'll lose or something? That's a thing. I don't know what you guys are superstitious, man.
I am too.
Yeah, everybody is. Unmuted Corey, who you got?
Louisiana.
All right, the very last game of Saturday night, Alamo City, boom, at Mexico City. This is going to be a good one, Bo. I know you got Alamo City. Give me a 10-second reason why.
Like I said before, like I said earlier, not to say that Mexico City can't rebuild and be great again. I just don't feel like they're there yet. That's my reason.
Okay, T-Roy?
I'm going with Mr. Thick and Juicy to my right, Alamo City.
Tyler, look at it. He's picking guys on his left and picking guys on his right. Tyler?
I'm going with Bo here. Mexico City just they're not the same. They're not the same Aztec team.
Next week, if Mexico City wins this game, we're going to be having a different conversation next week, I think.
Very much so.
Yeah, Corey, or I'm sorry, unmuted Corey.
No, let's stick with Alamo City.
Ooh, a clean sweep over Mexico City. That's going to be. Now, I think, let me look real quick. Last week, Alamo City, clean sweep over DC on the pick'ems, just FYI. All right, moving on to the. Oh, there's no games on Sunday.
Super Bowl.
The Monday game.
Why? Oh, Super Bowl. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah, Super Bowl.
All right. So Monday Night Football, last game. Bo, Indy at Minnesota. This is probably the game of the week. Who you got in this one?
For a change, we're gonna have a really good game on Monday. I mean, I shouldn't, but
I think that first week Monday night game was that first week 1 Monday night was phenomenal.
The first week was amazing, but but the rest of them were meh. Anyway, long story short, I think this one will be a really good game. Indy's going to put up a fight, but I think Minnesota's going to pull it out.
I think Minnesota's probably a little pissed off from losing their first game too. T-Roy?
I'm actually going to go with my former brother-in-arms, Indy.
On the road at Minnesota after Minnesota lost the game. That's ballsy. All right, Tyler?
Yes, it is.
Minnesota lost to Indy last week of the regular season. Last season, this is a revenge game. I'm going with the great state of Minnesota.
All right, unmuted Corey, take us home, bro. Who you got in the last game of the week? Indianapolis at Minnesota, Monday Night Football.
Let's go with Minnesota. I think they got this one.
If I was picking games, I think I would go Minnesota as well. I think that I think they feel maybe a little embarrassed. Vancouver worked them pretty good, I feel like. So I think if I'm Minnesota, I'm pissed off. And then like Tyler also said, I'm pissed off about losing to them in the end of last season as well. Before we do some sign-offs here, before we go to Freddie, I want to say a couple quick things. If you notice in the Access Live Discord server how we promote goals, the Great One Hockey League sim over there. So if you're interested in a hockey sim league, please go see the link there. There's going to be some soccer sim league information coming up. The Simulation Soccer League or Simulation Soccer Federation is starting back up with Wink and Eagle. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and DM them or put a message in the Access Live Discord server. And I believe they're actually looking for owners in that league as well. So hit them up or pop something in the Access Live server. And then lastly, I wanted to announce that San Diego store went live online tonight while we were doing the show. So check the San Diego Mavericks Twitter for our new store. It's like a Sector 6 style store, but it's through trickjerseys.com, which you see over my side over here. And then I think I'm not positive, but I think Bo has a thick and juicy jersey. I'm not sure. I'll have to check with him on that. Thick and juicy makes you want to jump. Corey Menor, thank you, bro. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Tyler, appreciate you being here. T-Roy and Bo as well. Freddie, get ready to take us home. And I'll let you guys know if there's going to be a Valentine's Day show next week or not. I'm still 50-50 on it, but I'll put an announcement out on it. So, Freddie, take us home. That was my sign-off. So after you sing, we're going to cut it.
Well, good evening, Dave. Great show as always. Great panelists. And as a dandy Don would say, turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. We'll call it a night. The party's over. Until next week, where we'll all party again. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, party people. Thank you to Frank Gooden for popping on. Thank you to Gunny as well. Bullet, hoping to see you again next weekend. Once again, thank you to Bo T-Roy, Tyler, and Unmuted Corey for being on the show tonight. Appreciate all of you. I will let you know if there's a show next Tuesday night on Valentine's Day. If there's not, then guarantee we'll be back the following Tuesday. Have a great night, everybody. Don't forget to tune in Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern on Twitch, and we'll see you when we see you. Good night.